This is the No More OGs podcast. From controversial topics to creating financial freedom, we will talk to real people about real situations, providing real solutions. No celebrity endorsements. Bringing you unfiltered discussions, dope interviews, and giving you the blueprint to create the culture that you will be proud of. So kick back, turn up the volume, and let's get to it. Here's your host, yours truly, Mr. Purpose on Demand, Mr. Retired at 37, Mr. Tim Jackson. What's going on? It's your man, Tim Jackson. This is the No More OGs podcast. I am your host, and I'm here with a very, very special guest, a friend of mine that I've known for over a decade.
Yeah.
We used to work together in the corporate sector, and now we both doing some amazing things, you guys. It is my duty, it is my goal to bring to you real people who are doing real things in this space, because you know what? We get caught up too much with celebrities and what they're doing, and what happens is these people never come back to us to give us the game. So the whole purpose of this podcast is to come back to you and give you the game from people who are actually living it, working it, producing, and actually have a track record that you can show up and see what it is. So without further ado, I want to introduce to some, present to others, my friend, Miss Shani Parker, the lash fluencer. What's good?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Listen, we made it happen today, y'all. Today has been such a crazy day. I had my event this weekend, and it was such an amazing event. Shout out to everyone who came. And I ended up leaving my charger for my podcaster at the event. But shout out to my guy, Mr. Richard Graves at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters. I'm giving you a personal shout out. This dude stopped what he was doing, left his house, drove from the other side of town to get me inside the facility, and we found what we were looking for, Richard and Maria, specifically my guy Richard. So thank you. So Shani pulled up. I said, how much time we got, homie? Like, you got some time? I said, do you got an extra hour? And she was like, yeah, I do. So she rode down there with me. We got it.
Yes.
And we making history right now. But listen, player, I had to bring you on the show because, man, one, you are killing it on TikTok.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You killing it on TikTok, but you know what? I've watched you grow your lash business from the ground up. I remember when you first started.
Yes.
And I hate to say doing lashes, because I always tell people, if you're getting into a business that you're pursuing, that's your purpose and your passion, don't call it doing, and don't let other people say, how's that little thing that you got going on? You have to go into it. So I remember when you first pursued a career and being a lash tech. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
And it was slow. Like, you know, content was slow, everything was moving, and then you just got really good with social media, and like overnight your fan base started growing and you started doing some amazing things. So take us down that road. Like, one, what made you get into the lash business?
So I wanted a second side hustle, because I remember in college, a lot of the girls, a lot of them knew how to do hair. That was the thing. And so even though they were going to school for something, they had a talent that they could do outside of it. And I knew that the beauty industry, you can't go wrong with the beauty industry.
It's the only thing that AI can't feel. Like with all the AI going on, all the AI in the world cannot do cornrows.
No. So I decided I wanted to do something that I thought was quick and easy. It wasn't quick and easy, but I went ahead and got my lash license and just started the road on getting lash clients and learning the skill of lashing. And then I think that I did have the perspective of, I just want to learn how to do lashes. But then I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a whole business. So I have to learn marketing. I have to learn finance. I have to learn, like, outside of like lashing in itself, I had to learn all these different components, which is why I had such a slow start, because social media marketing is its whole situation in itself.
No, you said something there, and a lot of people are going to miss that. That's any business you start. And too often on social media, we see the start and the end product in a 30 to 60 second clip, and we don't realize everything that goes into it. And you said you started off wanting to do lashes, but then you realized that lashing was a business. Talk about that some more.
It's basically like anything else. Like, you may have a barber and they may want to like actually build out their clientele, or maybe go into branding their own tools, and they may be good at cutting hair, but they have to learn the fundamentals of business, like setting up an LLC, getting your business account, getting business credit, marketing. and it's so many different avenues that you can take with growing your business. I think for me, it was that book that you gave me, The One Thing. I don't know if you remember when you gave me that book. So I picked one thing. So my first thing was, okay, I need an LLC. I'm getting clients in. I need to actually have my money going into a bank account now.
Because you don't want to commingle your funds.
No, I don't want to commingle my funds. Yeah. So I started that up, and then it was like, okay, social media marketing. And that was its own thing, because you have to decide, like, what platform are you going to run ads, and then you have to learn how to run ads, or you're going to be wasting money. And then it's the whole thing with the algorithm. Then it's building an audience. Then it's, going viral. What type of content I need to post. Oh my gosh, I need to get a content calendar. Like, it's just so many things that you learn as you go. But you got to keep going in order to learn it.
No, that's real. And I think a lot of people, I hope you guys don't miss that, because what happens a lot of times when I do consultations with people want to show up. And I say this not to be funny, you guys. I want y'all to hear me here. People want to show up and be Tim Jackson. People want to show up and be Shani. People want to show up and be, Xavier Miller. Shout out to my guy Xavier, the Millionaire Mindset Podcast. But they don't see the work that we're putting on behind the scenes. They don't see the sleepless nights. They don't see all of the things that we're doing behind the scenes that ain't giving us no love. I remember when I first got onto TikTok, I was like, man, I can't get no love over here on TikTok. And I called you and I was like, how are you doing it? Like, it seems like your TikTok just grew overnight. And you were like, Tim, it's consistency, and it's niching down what you're talking about and just staying on that one thing. And I put a video this weekend, and that mug is over 100,000. I grew 1,000 followers, seems like within a couple of days. But honestly, it had me at first thinking like, man, I don't even want to be over here. I don't even want to spend my money over here. But once I start getting consistent and start growing, and I've seen your business consistently grow, and I want you to talk about some of those pitfalls and some of those pain points that you had to experience before you started seeing the success.
Trial and error. Don't be afraid to fail, especially with content, because you have to try out different ways to deliver your content, whether it's a video with text, whether it's you talking over a video, whether it's you talking in the screen, whether it's you doing something, a mundane task during the day while delivering informational content. Like, maybe you're cooking and you're filming a video and you're talking about lashes.
Bro, you mastered that.
I'm telling you.
I watched a video of yours the other day. You were literally eating dinner. And you talked for about a good 20 minutes. And it was just like you eating dinner, talking about what you were talking about. And it was so genius. And you put it in your Snap story. So literally, I clicked through the whole damn story. Yes. I think I texted you like, bro, you're the only person that can literally keep me engaged that long in a story. But it's so organic. It's so natural. And I think that's what makes you so successful at that, because when people show up, it's like they're watching themselves blossom into something.
Yeah. And you can't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, don't be afraid of looking stupid. I rather look stupid making money or trying to make money than being like, well, I don't want to put myself out there and not be trying to make money. Okay. So I want to end up, as you said, being consistent and then blossoming and falling into my bag, instead of not trying at all and not falling into anything except what the day in and day out of stuff.
You preaching. I'm a baseball guy. Everybody knows I love the game of baseball. Baseball is one of the hardest sports to play. That's why they get paid the most. Baseball is all about failure. Like, literally, you strike out 7 out of 10 times. You fail 7 out of 10 times. That's how they compute your batting average, based on 10 at bats. So for every 7 out of 10 times you're failing, but if you're batting what they call a 300, which means that you strike out 7 out of 10 times, they pay you $25 million a year. They pay you $30 million a year. Some people are getting paid $40 million a year to strike out 7 out of 10 times. And the average person in baseball bats a 250, which means they lose 25 or they lose 75% of the time. But it's like they show up at every time to keep swinging. And a lot of people are afraid to strike out. Like, get up there and fail. And you said something. You said different types of ways. Like, my videos over the last 2 years, I've evolved so much because I literally said, I'm going to try everything. I did the really, you know, the Carlton shit, the Google, you know what I'm saying? I was the dude on there cussing, acting the damn fool. I never forget when I first started cussing on Facebook. People were like, damn, I've never heard you cuss like this. I've done the funny shit. I've done the serious shit. I've done, but all these people are me, but I have to see what is that people need. And then I realized, Shani, it wasn't about what I felt like people needed. It was about figuring out what they needed and then serving them. Can you kind of talk to that as well? Like how you've done that in your own business? Because I love the way that you have your people, you'll ask them what is it that they're struggling with. What are y'all struggling with? What is it that you need me to talk about? And then you create topics around that. Yeah,
like you have to, that's part of the organic way of finding your audience. Like what everyone says on social media in general, or just marketing in general. Who are you marketing to? Well, I'm going to ask you, what do you want to know? Like, what do you want to know? And I will serve you that content. I have an email list too of over 3,000 students. And every month I send out an email like, what do you guys want to know? What are you struggling with? Because I will build you content around that. Why would you not ask your audience who want to give you their money what they want to purchase? Like, because what you're doing is initially I'm asking you, then I'm going to build content around it. Then I'm going to build a product around the content that goes deeper, a deeper dive. And then I'm going to ask you, okay, well, I built this ebook, this class that you can take, this course that you can take that talks about everything that I've been posting content about. And now I've what they call it is primed your audience. Now you're ready for the deeper dive. And oh, by the way, I have a digital product or I have a class that you can take if you want a deeper dive. So you can either take the free information that I've given you, because that also provides value. But if you want to do a deeper dive in that, you're going to have to pay me now.
And they should, right?
Yeah.
And that's deep. Let's that's really interesting, because I feel like, and I this is from my own personal experience, when you solve a person's problem, they'll always come back. Oh,
they'll always come back. And I think that a lot of people, whether it's like lashes or services, or regardless if it's on social media or if you're marketing one-to-one, like face-to-face, you cannot introduce yourself and then ask somebody for their money. That's not how that works. You have to show and prove yourself as an authority in that subject.
That's not how that works.
Doesn't work.
That's not how any of this works. You remember that commercial? Remember that commercial where it's like, I'm posting. This is like, no, that's not how that works.
Yes, like you have to. I struggle with
that. Transparent moment. I struggle with that. I felt like because I had so much success and I had achieved so many things that I should be able to show up and y'all just give me your money. And what I got humbled real quick, because no matter who you are, where you're from, people are going to want to know what specifically can you do for me. And I'll never forget, I'm in a group with these guys and we all kind of, throw ideas off of each other. But one of the main themes is that it's not about what you've done. It's about how you can articulate what you've done, specifically in a way to make people understand that what you've done will make their life better. And if they don't think that's going to make their life better, then they're not going to fuck with you. And people consume two things. They consume bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
And they consume something that they believe will solve their problem right now. So my thing is, how do I, keep y'all laughing and following some of the bullshit, the jokey joke stuff, but also saying, oh, and Tim also raised my credit score by 300 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like I keep my DMs open on Instagram for beginner lash artists. A lot of them send me their work. They ask me questions like, I'm thinking about doing X, Y, and Z, or how was this placement, yada, yada, yada. A lot of people would charge for that because that's basically one-on-one mentorship in its own way. But the thing is, I truly have a passion for helping beginner lash artists, and I don't mind helping you out to a certain degree. Now, once I continuously provide you the value, at some point, I need you to open up that little checkbook.
What's my favorite saying? Well, this is where the conversation becomes a consultation.
Yes.
Did I tell you that before?
Yes, you
Everybody can get it. Now, you know what? I think I told you that, and then I ended up still helping you out anyway, because I know that you're not going to waste my time. And that's just what you call a barrier of entry. A lot of people need to understand that in every business you have, there should always be a barrier of entry. Like, people shouldn't be able to have direct contact with you past a certain point. Like, here's my free stuff. This is what I have to offer. Go to my website. If you want me to be your personal assistant and hold your hand, that's going to cost a little money. And in my case, like, we have the $9 Academy where you can literally go and find all these different topics that show you how to do exactly what you need to do. It's $9. Like, if you want to talk to me after you've taken my $9 Academy, it's going to run you a couple hundred, because my goal is to put everything there. But I promise you, if you do come and talk to me, I'm going to put you on another course that's going to make sure that you get what you need. But sometimes people need to start embracing the process of knowing, hey, let me just go back and watch their content, because they're giving me all the plays. They made themselves available for me. Now it's on me to put it out there and do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying?
And I try to quote unquote train my audience for that. Like, I have lash artists in my DMs now asking me, like, when are you gonna? They are basically asking me, when are you giving classes? Like, I want to give you my money so I can go deeper in detail with you about, you know, becoming a lash artist. And I feel like you have to train your audience for that, because when I do lives on TikTok, you know, you'll have followers to be like, well, I don't want to pay for a lash supply list because I can go over to this person's page and get it for free. Well, that's fine.
You should go over there.
Go right on over there. I hope that they have everything that you need. But for mine, you're going to have to click the link in the bio and go to the store. And not all of my lash products are going to be on Amazon. So if you feel more comfortable going over to the other lash artists, that's fine. You have to have a level of no F's given about it, because you're that 10 toes down in your product and your value. And you offer so much free value that you know is valuable, that when you finally ask for $5 for a lash supply list, I'm not going to compromise with you for that. Like, it's just not. And I know that comes off like,
no, it doesn't,
haughty, but I mean, if you like, you'll have customers or clients that maybe, I don't think that they realize how rude that is to ask you for something for free when you've given valuable content, and now you're finally putting a price point on that, and now they want that for free, and they're like doing the comparison. Well, this person over here does, well, la-di-da. I don't care about the next person.
So I always teach people, you know, specifically the people that I consult, you never have to convince your target audience.
No, you don't.
Like, you never have to convince your target. If I have to convince you, you're not my target audience.
No.
If I'm giving you, like with us, I have a free credit course. Never pay for credit repair again. Click the link in my bio. Take the course. It's 10 days worth of content. Literally 10 days, 10 minutes each day. I give out over 100 dispute letters that shows you exactly how to use them. I have a budget calculator that's for free. Like, if you can't get that information and see the value in it, and then if I have some over here that's even better, 10 times better, but I'm only charging you $9, player, you are not my target audience.
You're
and
not.
I used to feel some kind of way, like, I used to be like, well, damn, you know, this is why you need it. And it's like, now I'm just like, all right, if it's not for you, player.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
I've had, this past month, I had a whole situation with my my email, my whole email list. Some of my emails weren't delivering for like a month. Like, for 80%, my emails would deliver, and then there was a 20% to where they would open the email and the content just wouldn't load. And this was going on for a month, and I had people emailing me like, the email's not loading, I'm tired of it, unsubscribe me. And I was like, okay, well, fine. And then on the back side of that, I had a few of that 20% that was like, I'm not getting your content. Is this on TikTok? Is this on your Instagram? Do I have to go to my website? And they were like, I am not unsubscribing. I just need to know where I can get this. You're not even seeing what's in my email.
But they still see your value.
But they still see my value. And from getting those type of emails, that's when it clicked to me. The people that are really rocking with my content, the people that are my target audience, they're not going to go anywhere. And this was going on for a month where it was a back and forth, like, I'm so sorry, I'm still working with my team, da-da-da-da-da. And they were still rocking with me. And when I got the problem fixed, those same people were like emailing me back like, yes, girl, I could see your emails. And that really taught me the lesson of who is for you will be there for you. Because some folks, they were just like unsubscribing. And now I'm just like, I sent out an email like, those of you that stayed, I'm not opening back up my email list till I don't even know if I'm going to open it back up.
You know what?
Because of that right there.
You know, no. Let's talk about that, because for me, like, if I show you my phone now, I have over 100,000 emails. And so I'm not my target audience. Like, I'm not my ideal client. And so I used to have a thing about emailing people because I didn't want people to unsubscribe. I don't know if that was, I just didn't want rejection, but I just didn't want to feel like I was bothering people because I don't even open my emails. And so I'll never forget the first time I ran like an unsubscribe report. And I was like, man, you know, I had a lot of people on my list, but there's people that had to unsubscribe. And I was like, going through the list, like, oh, I knew this person. Why would they unsubscribe? And then, like, now I run that unsubscribe report every week, and I delete them people. I get them the fuck up out my list. You want to know why? Because I have to pay for every person on my list.
You sure do.
So if I'm paying to have, at one point I had like 5,000 people on my list, Shani, I got it down to like 1,500 people because I ran all these reports of people who were never opening them up, people that were getting the bounce report. And then I sent out an email. I'll never forget, I sent an email out. Are you on my list? It was like, hey guys, I hate to see you go, was the title of the email. And it was like, you know, for those who haven't really opened my emails and haven't been engaged, I love you guys, but this will be the last email you get from me because,
for those people.
You know, you're not my target audience. And I got so many emails like, no, I'm here. Don't take me off the list. And I saw the value there and I said, no, membership has its benefits. Exclusivity has its benefits. If you rocking with me, I'm going to put you, you're going to be down. I'm going to give you so much content that's going to make you a better person. But if I have to twist your arm, get the fuck off my email list, man.
No, because like when I was having that issue with my email list, I ran the report actually this past weekend. In over 2 months, I lost 100 subscribers. Yeah, and I had like 15 people out of that 20% that were emailing me like, I'm rocking with you. I know that you're figuring out whatever you need to do on the back end, and they would update me, and I'm like, are y'all getting the email? They'd be like, no.
But they're not business people. And let me say this to anyone who's watching, like, you got to drop the entitlement. Like, specifically with black businesses, like, we're so hard on black businesses. Like, we'll go to a big box store. I'm not going to say nobody's name, but when I say big box store, you know who I'm talking about. It's only one major one. And they done got to the point to where the customer service was so bad, they said, well, fuck it, check yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and we still go up there and give them our money every single first and the 15th. So you go up there every single first and the 15th and get kicked in the ass with customer service. And then if I make a mistake or my stuff won't load on one thing, you want to shit on me? Like, why are we like that with our own people? Like, at some point in the game, we got to show some grace and know that we are small business owners who are learning this as we go. And you gotta give people grace, and you gotta be like, hey, you know what? I see what you did, because what's gonna happen is when you get ready to go down that road, you're gonna understand how much of a piece of shit you've been to people who are really out there busting their ass. And then when they make it and they not fucking with you no more, then you're gonna feel some kind of way. You're gonna be one of those, oh, I used to know that person type person. Like, show people some grace on the way up. Like, it takes so much for an entrepreneur to put their foot out there and like take a step. You know how scary it is to be an entrepreneur? And I don't think people understand that until they start doing it. No,
and then you start, like, what do I know about merge tags and DAMRC policies for email delivery? Like, I don't know any of that stuff, but I learned it this past month. Like,
you over here calling.
You have to, as a small business owner, there are things that will happen. Yes, you're everything, and you have to learn like these new skills on the fly. And for, the people that unsubscribe, that's fine. I don't have any issue with that. But I feel like when it comes to black business, it has to be both sides of the coin, though, right? Yeah. You have people that measure extremely harshly with black business, and then you have black business owners that don't value the power of customer service either. So you have it on both ends, because sometimes you do try to support a black business, and then it's just like, well, why I'm trying to help you out. Like, I'm not running a Google to write a bad review, but your customer service is horrible.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
What is really going on?
So let's talk about that, because, you know, one of the whole purposes and the premises of No More OGs is for me to, you know, kind of expose and bring light to some of the things that we tend to bury and cover up in our culture that's keeping us back. And for so long, it's been this thing, like, if you think about the hood and street mentality, like, the hood and the street mentality says you don't snitch, you don't tell on people, you shut up, you just kind of take it. And I always say that, you know, people that look like us, we've been getting kicked in the ass for centuries, not just by people that are trying to oppress us, but even by our own, because it's like we don't really have no recourse to even, you know, raise a complaint or, you know, like voice a concern or a gripe. It's like whenever you hold your own accountable, you get pegged to somebody that's cooning or somebody that's shucking and jiving, or, you know, why are you talking about a black boy? I never forget, like let's just say I make a post, for example, Ja Morant. He's in the news a lot right now, a basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies. Probably one of the most talented, you know, point guards in the league, from my opinion. One of, you know, used to be one of my favorite, you know, athletic players. But it's like he done moved to Memphis, and now he done became a street nigga. You know what I'm saying? A 2-parent home, went to private school, but now he's in Memphis and he's a street nigga. And so he's just been getting in all this trouble. And it's like, at what point do we hold him accountable or hold our own accountable so we can start policing ourselves? And I made a post about it, and somebody came in the comments, you know, just bringing another black man down. Well, why aren't you holding him accountable? So you can come in my comments and say, I'm bringing another black man down because I'm saying, hey, what's going on with this? Like we got to do better. We need more mentors to pull him to the side. But you would sit back and watch him crash and burn. And then I think about it from a black business standpoint. We suffer in silence because we already know that as black business owners, there's already going to be this stigma that we don't have good customer service. So people like you and me, we're always having to overcompensate for all the other businesses that aren't doing what they need to do. And then people come and they start talking about, well, you know, black businesses are underfunded, as we are. Yes, we are. Black businesses have all these problems. Yes, we do. But at one point, do we change it by all saying, hey, there needs to be some accountability. Just because I'm a black business owner doesn't mean that you can treat me any kind of way and show up to my business and get, you know, this something for free, something
discounted, bartering services. I've heard it all, especially as a beauty servicer. Well, such and such does lashes for this much. Why are you charging this much? I'm charging this much because I have a license, I'm twice certified, and I have 6 years of experience, and I'm a teacher. But if you would like to go to such and such and get a discounted price, then you go ahead and do that.
But the audacity of you saying that, right? So in their mind, you have the audacity to tell me that? I'm the consumer. The consumer's always right. No, nigga. The consumer is not always right. The consumer be on that bullshit sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And yes. I can say that because I've had people leave bad reviews on my real estate company. And it's just like, one, we didn't even work with you. Like, we just told you that what you were looking to do was not something that we can accommodate. And you go shit on my company. And it's like, wait a minute. Your false expectations should not become my reality.
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't, especially when we had a conversation up front about said X, Y, and Z. So
that sounds like an email from HR. We had a conversation up front about said. You know, anytime somebody say said, you about to get fired or rolled up.
Exactly. You know, that's that corporate talk.
It is that corporate talk. You know, per my previous email.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, Shani, like, I've learned that you can't, like, certain people just can't go with you.
No.
And it's like we have this thing within the black community, you know, everybody must go. And my response to that is everybody can't go.
No, everybody can't. If you are not rowing, on my boat and you're just sitting there idle hands, you have to get off.
You got to get up off the boat.
I can't. When I started getting traction on my social media, I have other friends that are in certain businesses, and I was trying to tell them like, hey, you need to get on social media. If you, it's specifically TikTok, if you need leads, instead of you going out and constantly getting clients, why not wake up to clients that have already went through the process of filling out a form or whatever, so you know that they're serious about your services. It's not something that they just clicked on your link and then clicked yes. No, they went through the process of filling out your form. And I remember one person in particular, like it was a whole argument. And then I had to think to myself, I can't change everybody. I can't, quote unquote, my definition of help everybody. If you feel like what you're doing is the best thing for your business, even though this, in my opinion, will help you out, if you don't see the value in it, then I'm going to save my breath and you go ahead and keep on going with that. Because not everybody sees the value in social media, which is a crime to me, because it literally, set up your camera and talk about your business for free. You could literally reach everyone in the world just by hopping on social media. And people are so used to consuming content, they don't understand the value of creating the content that would direct people to their business. And I feel like it's just, especially in the Black community, as far as like small businesses go, they don't understand the best. There is a social media influencer that I follow. She's a Black girl that has a hair company. She sells hair, and her slogan is "the best marketer wins." And that is so true. The best marketer wins. But a lot of people don't see the value in that. And from that particular conversation, that disagreement with that person, that's when it really, really clicked for me that everybody just can't go with. Like, everybody can't go with, and that's unfortunate. No,
and within the Black community, because we've suffered so many hardships systematically, like, let's not get it twisted. I'm not going to be the guy. I'm not the pull up your boots by your bootstraps guy, because I understand some of us don't have boots. And if we do, some of us don't even have bootstraps. You know what I'm saying? I am, however, the let's not sit around and keep shit going the way it is guy. Like, if we can articulate how fucked up it is, we should be able to articulate how we think that it should change, and then we should begin with the end in mind and solve that problem, and not expect for somebody else to solve it for us. But what happens is it becomes a proximity war. And I learned this, one of the reasons that I started to abandon the culture, if you will, is I had a Hispanic contractor working on my house. And I had this misconception that, you know, all Hispanics stick together. You know, that's what we were taught. They all stick together. And so we were having a conversation. I was like, hey, man, you know, I bet you don't have any issues with your family and friends, because all Hispanics stick together. He's like, what? He was like, what you mean? I said, well, I grew up thinking, you know, like that all Hispanics stuck together. Like, that was y'all culture. He was like, bullshit. He said, I don't have any Hispanic clients. He said, they all want me to do free work. All my family and my friends want me to come over there and fix shit for free. They want to do this for free. And I was sitting there like, what the fuck? And so he went down this myriad of list of how he rarely works with his own people, because he said the hardest people to work with is his own people. I said, y'all deal with that too? He said, hell yeah. He said, what happens is because, you know, that's all you see growing up. You don't realize that everybody deals with that. He said, because you know what my Black clients tell me? Especially the ones that own businesses, they complain about the Black folks. He said, you know what my Asian clients do? They complain about the Asians. He said, but we have this misconception that every race has their shit together and they be beefing. And he said something that changed. He said, this literally made me look at different. He says, look at the Democrats and Republicans. Most of them are white. I was like, oh shit. Everybody beefs with each other within their racial complex. It's just that there's a system that's designed to fuck me a little bit more. So I have to be aware of that system while understanding that I can't take everyone with me. I have to find the people who are willing to go and do the work. And that's what we got to do. That's
for me. That's the bare minimum. That's the price of entry for me.
The barrier of entry, the cost of
The
entry.
cost of entry for me. Are you doing the work in your own life? If you're not doing the work in your own life, you have no need to add me to the equation.
No matter what color you are, huh?
No matter what, because you're just going to hold me down. And that doesn't matter what industry you're in, because you could always, when it comes to entrepreneurship, regardless of the industry, you could always connect on some type of way, whether it's how you make your content, what are your back end systems, customer service. There's always something you could connect with another business owner in. If it's, entrepreneurship, regardless of the sector. But if you're not doing the work, then that means that I have nothing to offer to you, and you have nothing to offer to me. So why are we even having a conversation?
Why do you think we don't talk about that more out loud? Because I feel like, again, there's this we have to suffer in silence as Black entrepreneurs. We can't talk about how people treat us in business. We can't talk about how, other business owners make us look bad. We can't talk about that. And at this point in the game, I think that there's literally a renaissance that's taking place like right now with people like me, people like you, that's just like, you know what? I love you. I'm going to always ride with my people, but y'all on that bullshit, and we're not going to mix this with the business.
No, I'm not. I take everything from an individualistic approach, right? So
we don't need to all come together and just do everything. We have one leader.
If
we don't have one leader, because Black folks, we love us a good leader.
No, because that's already problematic in itself. Because the same people who build you up they will cheer at your beheading. So no,
shit.
No.
Look at Kanye. Look at Kyrie Irving, and I don't care. I'm not speaking about what they said, what they did, their politics, but look at how quick people went from loving them to hating them to loving them again to hating them. And I sit back. I'll never forget one day I got on Facebook and Kanye had did something.
He always doing something.
Check this shit out, Shani. I literally looked at my On This Day feature, and 3 years prior, he had did some shit on that day, and I was like.
At least he's consistent.
I'm like, is this shit playing? And now with the whole, the shoe deal, they took his shoe deal because he made some comments that, weren't pleasing to the public. Now they've come to an agreement to pay him $500 million to resell the shoes because the shoes flop. So literally how people feel about you is how much money you can make for them or how much they think they can benefit from you. And I don't think people understand, that's what the game is. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like... But people also respect those that are true to themselves, right? Because you can't, even though you have to market your business, even though you want to have target your target audience, you don't want to get caught up in the clout chase neither. You don't want to be one of those like that the algorithm mess, like every time you turn around you need to do this for the algorithm. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post valuable content. I'm going to stay within the parameters that I keep my content, like maybe a minute or less, or maybe use a trending sound, use caption. Like those are basics for me. Pay attention to the CEO as far as my captions to make sure
SEO.
Yeah. Yes, my SEO when I write out my captions. So when you go searching for stuff, it'll pick up my video.
You taught me that on TikTok.
Yeah, but outside of that, all this extra stuff, I'm not doing that. I'm not following a trend. I'm not changing up everything just for the algorithm. My main purpose is to build a community. That's it. The community does not really follow trends. I don't want to go viral and then it's a whole bunch of people that know nothing about lashes and don't care about lashes. I'm sticking to talking to my niche audience. Point blank, period. No type of compromise on that.
Damn.
You can never go wrong with it. You can never go wrong with it. You can never go. That's why, like, sometimes I'll create content while I'm doing a mundane thing, because it feels like I'm talking specifically to you.
It does. You have great content. That's deep. That's deep. We're gonna park there. We're gonna move on from there, because I think that in itself is the icing on the cake. I want to talk to you about something. I've recently been on social media making a push to tell people not to quit their jobs, because I feel like specifically during the pandemic, everybody's talking about entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is a play, but there's a lot of people out there who are prematurely leaving their places of employment without any business structure, without knowing anything. And this isn't to shit on anyone, but they'll leave a job that's paying them sufficient amount of money with benefits to go do delivery services and pursue their dreams. And then they get burnt out because they don't have systems in place and they don't know how to market themselves. And then they get jaded because the people around them aren't supporting them. Like, I want you to speak to why it was so important for you to keep your 9-to-5 job, but also to work your business in such a way to where people don't even realize that you have a 9-to-5 job.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So starting out, life is like a sandwich. I need my bread on both ends. Okay. Let's start there. Let's start there. But I mean, that was very important to me because I wanted to figure out my structure before I left my job. Like this whole thing with the email thing. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I didn't know I didn't know everything that took to get my emails to deliver. Like, I had to learn that on the fly. And even though my business is making more than what I make right now, I don't feel like leaving your job and depending solely on your business that hasn't really flourished and came to full fruition yet is the smartest thing, because when you are starting your business, you want to stay in your creative flow. Like, especially with marketing, especially, I feel like when you turn something you love and like a passion into something you must do in order to eat, the whole energy behind it changes. And you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself by quitting your job and being like, this gotta work, now you're working with a whole different energy. You're not working with the energy of, I already have money, okay, coming in every 2 weeks. I can this is something that I love. I just need I need to learn about social media. Okay. I need to set up maybe an email funnel. Okay. People are asking me for classes, so let me do. You work with you come with a whole different type of energy when you're not depending on it to eat, especially if you have a family, especially if you're dependent on it for a roof over your head. So I always tell people, keep in your 9-to-5 until you feel comfortable enough to where you're in a flow with your business. You have your system set up. You have your policy set up. You feel confident to where if you hit a snag, you could overcome it. Do not be a baby and crawling or really just learning how to walk and then quit your business. Even though my business makes more than my 9-to-5, I'm still keeping my 9-to-5 until I feel like I have a team set up, until I get to the level to where I have a personal assistant. That's my idea of flourish. And it has to be, you have to sit down and think about what that is for your business.
That's the word right there. So you mean tell me you're not gonna go get you a new Bentley and
Oh no.
You know, I be watching these influencers and listen, y'all know me. I don't pocket watch nobody. I don't care what you eat, don't make me shit. But it bothers me to see influencers online who are essentially fraud in the system. You know, they go out and get a shitload of business credit and then they forfeit or, you know, what they call it, bankrupt the business, and now they got all this bread and they live in this lavish lifestyle telling you to quit your shit, knowing that it ain't gonna work out like that for you. And we buy into a lot of that bullshit, and then when you go to learn from, it's like, yeah, let me show you how I did this. Come take my $10,000 course. Like, you're the lick, you're the job, right? You're the job, yeah. And what's going on is that a lot of people have structure in their life, and they'll completely uproot that structure to pursue a lie. And, you know, with me, I always tell people I made my bag working and selling real estate. My clients came from my job. I was able to build a foundation. I was up there slanging them houses, right? And I was like, you know what? When the time was right, I left. But it was when the time was right. Yeah. Because if you do something when the time is not right, there was times where I left and I had to go back to work because the time wasn't right. I didn't have the systems in place. And I was miserable when I went back to work. Yeah. Not because I didn't value a job, but because I knew that I prematurely left. And if I would have just waited just a little bit longer, put a few more systems in place, leveraged a little bit more of my debt and my income, I could have done it the right way. And now I do it. I've done it the right way. So I commend you for, you know, keeping your job, because most of the gurus out there will tell you to quit your job. Fuck that job. If you got a boss, you a bullshit. Like, I used to say stupid shit like that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm on the record saying that a job was like a pimp hoe relationship.
I remember that.
You know? And what happens is, once I start hiring people, I had to respect the fact that them working for me was their job. And it humbled me, Shani. It humbled me to say, damn, I can't believe I said that old reckless ass shit. Like, most people have a job, you know? And what you can do is you can build an empire with that job money. You can use that W-2.
Sure can.
Bro, you can use that W-2 to get loans that you wouldn't be able to get. You can go out and purchase properties. You can do a lot of things with that job money. You have a whole system that company uses, HR policies, stuff that you can literally poach from that job to start setting up your structure. That job gives you support. So when shit hit the fan, you're not dealing with that shit. They're dealing with that. But you can learn those processes. And when I went back to work the second time, I literally studied those jobs from the inside out. Studied them, Shani. And I took their systems and I implemented their systems in my own business. And that's what gave me the leverage to leave.
Yeah, I think that people, you know, they get, motivation is a hell of a drug, ain't it? I mean, that's the reason why people, you know, they stay on TikTok and Instagram forever. It's the dreaming of this lifestyle and the quick dopamine hit of the motivation. But you have to step outside of those people that are telling you, oh, you need to quit your job, or trying to shame you for keeping a 9-to-5. Keeping a 9-to-5, because having a steady paycheck while you're building something is just the state of mind and the energy that you're going to come with. You're going to be a lot more creative. You're going to, and I've seen people quit their job and then try to build their business, and they don't have, let's just take the business off the table. They don't have structure. They don't have consistency. They don't have self-discipline. And I can't tell you how quick a day will go if you don't have a to-do list and you don't have, you know, time parameters. Like, I'm going to work on my email for this long. I'm going to film my content for this long. I'm going to practice.
Content creation day.
Content creation day. And spending time to edit, spending time to learn. You may need to go on YouTube University real quick and figure out how to do something. And you have to be good with your own self-discipline, because if you quit your job thinking that you're going to walk into your business and everything is going to be great, and you don't have any business systems in place, you don't have any policies in place, you don't have an organic flow on how you're going to get constant money in without you actually doing something, it's not going to go well for you. It's just not. And keeping a 9-to-5 and having to organize your 4 hours after work, that's my schedule. My 4 hours after work, and still keeping up with laundry, cleaning your house, going to the gym,
eating all that shit.
All of that teaches you structure.
A lot of people don't have structure. Like, I mentor a lot of kids that are under the age of 25 now, and it's like, yeah, I just want to show up and win. It's just like, that's not how it works. You know, that microwave shit don't work that way. You have to put in the work. You have to, you know, you got to put that work in and like, go to that job. It's not even about the job that you have. It's about the way you spend your money. I tell people.
Oh, it sure is.
Man, like, once I start cutting back on a lot of bullshit, like eating out, subscriptions that I didn't need, shopping, it ain't even just like I was doing shit. Like, I'm swiping my card 15 times a day, going here, going there. Once I got a hold on my budget, I started finding money within my budget that I already had that didn't require me to have a part-time job on top of the job I have plus a business. Then I started to put that money towards systems. I bought a CRM system. I hired a virtual assistant that I could pay $15 an hour to do certain things for certain times. And it's like, once I started to leverage those things, then I was able to step away and do some things full time. But most people don't have those systems. They want to show up to that business, saturated business, because like you say, your business is saturated. Lash work is saturated, but the person that markets the most is the person that's going to make the most money. And I really hope that someone watching this will understand, like, that job is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Take that job money and flip that into career or business money.
It will keep you afloat when your business may hit 10,000 this month, but what happens if it doesn't make money for the next 3 months?
I've had that happen.
So
I've sold a house and got a $25,000-$30,000 commission, and then didn't sell a house for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you have ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
Especially that was back when the real estate market was. You knew the fourth quarter was going to suck.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's buying houses in the fourth quarter. You're ready for Christmas. And so I've been in real estate for damn near 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. And that happens in any business. I've been around for a minute, huh? You buying a house this year?
I'm getting ready for it.
I'm huffing pup. I get your list. I get your email list every day.
Yeah, I be looking at the email.
And you didn't come to my event, but I'm not gonna hold that against you.
I'm here now, though. I'm here for this event.
See how petty I'm being. Shani, let's wrap it up on this note.
Okay.
I end all of my podcasts the exact same way.
Okay.
If y'all follow my podcast, y'all know my favorite movie is Back to the Future 2. That's one of my favorite movies. Gosh. And what I like about Back to the Future 2 is it went to the future and then it went back.
Yeah.
And so in that story, Biff, he was
the bully, right?
Yeah, he was poor in the future.
Yeah, he was.
But then he got in the DeLorean. He went back to the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, gave it back to himself, and then he ended up being rich.
He went back and gave himself the almanac.
The almanac, wasn't it like
the sports betting almanac?
Yeah, the sports betting almanac. Yeah.
And so he went back and gave himself an almanac. He was like, "Hey, stupid, bet on these games. Just trust me." He's like, "Who are you? I'm you. Just do it." So he goes back to the future, and he's like a trillionaire, right? He's running everything. So. If today's Shani can go back to talk to 18-year-old Shani, y'all are walking down the hall together. It's just you two in a long hallway, and she's walking and you're coming up on her, and she looks up and she sees you, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you look familiar." Mm-hmm. And you have that Back to the Future moment with Shani. What would you tell her?
Every paycheck that you get needs to go to Amazon and Google stock. That's gonna be the first thing out of my mouth before I probably even say hello.
Because you remember Amazon was just a bookstore.
It sure was, and people really didn't know what the internet was. So that would be the first. Google, Amazon. You need to start asking questions. I don't think at 18 did we have dial. I think it was still dial-up service. That would be my first.
High-speed internet had just came out.
Yeah.
Then. I remember.
That would be my first thing.
Because I had the AOL CD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how old I am. Yeah. I had the 15 minutes of free AOL.
Yes.
And you couldn't talk on the phone. Somebody picked up the phone and the internet to connect. I'm that old, y'all.
Yeah, so that would be the first thing out of my mouth. The second thing out of my mouth would be any business that you have, any idea, you need to be consistent with it. Because there were... And I had to learn this the hard way. Somebody told me this. I don't know if it was you or someone else. But when you have an idea and you do not take action on it, it floats to someone else. Was that you?
That's me.
So I've had business ideas to where nobody was thinking about it. And I was just like, I just gave up on myself. Like, oh, nobody's like hair. I had a plug to hair before anybody was selling hair, and I had got like the actual samples of the hair.
I remember that.
And you remember that?
I remember that.
And nobody was doing it. And then about a year or two later, it blew up, and girls was making like literally millions of dollars a year. Just so many things like that. I would tell myself to whatever idea you have, be consistent. You do not have to see everybody else doing it. You don't have to see that. You will be the person doing it, and then everybody else will follow you. And that's the reason why I don't get caught up on clout with social media now, because there's so many times to where I didn't do certain things that I should have done because I didn't see anybody else doing it, and then everybody else popped up doing it. So that has always stuck with me. So those would be like the main two things. And the third thing I would say, don't stay in situations or places that no longer serve or appreciate your presence. Just when respect is no longer served, just get up from the table. And that goes with jobs that I've had over the years. That goes with people. And that certainly goes with places. So if I'm somewhere and you don't seem to appreciate my presence, you don't seem to value my presence, so let me just gone ahead and exit stage left, I would have left bad jobs a lot sooner. I would have ended certain connections with friends, family, and people that I've dated a lot sooner. And I just think that those three things, Amazon, Google stocks, okay, consistency with ideas, and leave situations and places to where respect is no longer being served.
That's it right there. The idea is the validation.
Yes.
I told you that. If you get that idea, that was meant for you.
Yeah,
So
it really
you do
was.
I love that advice. Shani, where can they find you?
You can find me on my TikTok, the lash specialist _. That's my main place where I'm at. If you're on Instagram, it's at _ the lash specialist _ again. Those are my main two places you can find me. And www.thelashspecialist.com.
Well, there you have it. You guys, I'm so grateful to have my friend Shani here. Shani, keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. I've seen you evolve. I've seen you grow. You've given me some of the best life advice. Leos tend to always Leos always give the best life advice. I was teasing my sister. I said Leos give the best relationship advice, and then they're always single. Like every Leo I know will be single, and they be giving you the best advice. But no, I've seen you evolve. I've seen you grow. I'll never forget one thing. The first bit of advice you told me, you said, Tim, if you're not a part of the solution, you are a part of the problem. You remember that shit? Remember that?
Yes. That was like 10 years ago when I said that. And you stuck on to that for like
that was when we worked at the bank together.
Yes.
Me and Shani worked at a bank together.
Yes.
So let me tell you how me and Shani, like, I'm just going to give y'all just a brief, like, we worked at a bank together. And the people at the bank were really nosy, and we had mutual friends. So, like, what we used to do was we used to use a little chat feature in the bank, but we would use Google Translate, and we would chat in French.
Yeah. So
somebody trying to be nosy. We weren't talking about shit like, what you doing over there in your department? That's boring as fuck. But, like, me and her developed this dope friendship, and, like, you've given me so much game over the years, like, you know, just show me, you know, hey, pursue this, pursue that. Every time I got ready to jump off the porch and start a business or do something, I always would talk to you about it. And you've seen, you know, what I've evolved into too. So, man, I appreciate you for everything. I appreciate you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey,
I love the invite.
Hey, man, thank you for sticking around. Like I said, we had some technical difficulties.
Okay. You know, like I said, like we were talking about earlier, the people that are there for you, they gon' understand. They gon' like the people on my email list. They are gonna ride it out. They're gonna ride it out.
You never have to convince your target audience.
No, you don't.
Y'all, with that being said, give me a like, a follow, subscribe. You guys need to check out the $9 Academy. I am teaching you so many concepts. I'm only charging you $9 for it. So if that's too much money for you, you are not my target audience. So check this out. This is the No More OGs podcast. I'm bringing together more people like Shani. You guys, we are the solution. We are the culture. It's time to take advantage of everything that's put in front of us. Now is the time. Go out there, pursue it, get it and do it. I'm going to be on my 10-city tour, actually 11-city tour. We did Oakland. We did Dallas. Next weekend, or I think in a couple of weeks, I'll be in Sacramento. We're hitting Vegas, St. Louis, Detroit, Atlanta. I took Houston off the list. Sorry, Houston. You know what? Ain't nothing personal, H-Town. But I go to Houston all the time. Y'all want me to come? Let's make it happen. DC. But guys, pay attention to what we're doing. Helping 1,000 families purchase their first home this year. So let's get it. And you know what? I'm going to be in Houston. I'm just giving y'all a hard time. But I'll see y'all soon. This is the No More OGs podcast. Peace.
Bye.